Hi again, everyone. I'm Olly Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Jen. And this is Jen from Narcissistic Recording. Narcissist plays bad cop, worse cop. And if you remember, Jen is pregnant. I think she's about 6 or 7 months pregnant now. And her mother just screeching at her. So it was one of the most horrible women I've ever encountered. So what she did is she did an audio file for me of her speaking, and then she did a few follow-ups. Here we go.
Hi, Olly. This is a follow-up to your video, Narcissistic Parents Play Bad Cop, Worse Cop. It might make sense if listeners go back and hear that one first, but I'm sure they'll be able to understand this one just fine as well. I'm pretty sure that I'm deep in the shitville that is the narcissistic family cult fallout, but I'm not certain because there's a good amount of gaslighting going on, and it's definitely making me question myself a bunch. I have steadfastly refused group therapy with my parents because it was clear they would only be using it as a stick to beat me with, and a way to get a neutral party to get me to listen and obey.
Group therapy is useless. It's useless because it's only a means of control for them. They're not going into it seriously. You can't help your parents. They're gone. They're gone. And all they're going to try to do is use your new baby against you. You cannot let yourself be guilted here.
I am almost 6 months pregnant now, and I'm 34. I did not go to Christmas Eve or Christmas. Christmas Day was held at Renee's house, my aunt. This will be important later. I told my father, the covert narc, that I didn't want presents, but I would send them theirs, which I did.
Bad move. Why? You don't fuck with it. You don't fuck with it. You don't interact with it. You don't engage it. You don't do it. There's nothing. There's no presence. There's no showing up. Just like I told Anonymous on Christmas Day, who wrote in about her coworker and then went down the same day and gave a Christmas present, regardless of what it was. You can't interact with them. No contact means zero contact.
He then used presents for me as a manipulation to get me to see them.
Of course they would.
Which I promptly refused. Every email from them has been about what they would like and their feelings. No surprise there. They tried to send my aunt Renee, her husband Rob, and my brother Jim to try and reason with me with little success. These three even tried to gaslight me by telling me that I should go to therapy on my own to deal with the stress. How nice of them, right? So I turned that one around on them. I went to therapy, and when the therapist heard my mother's recording and told me to stay away from her because she's toxic, I told my parents that thanks to the advice of close family members, I went to a therapist. My therapist has recommended I not have contact with her.
Sure, that went over well.
They liked that. After this, I told the flying monkeys that the topic is closed.
So they know there's a recording. So that's going to drive them even crazier. That's going to must driving her even nuttier.
But if they have other topics, I'm all ears. Predictably, they have mostly chosen silence. No one, not even my younger cousins who are basically in their early 20s and teenagers, have called me to tell me that we don't have to talk about my parents and that they understand. Or that they're in my court, nothing. Not since all of this first went down in early November. Since then, my Aunt Renee and her husband, Rob, stopped by unannounced before Christmas to quote-unquote drop off cookies. I had previously told Renee that I wasn't coming to Christmas Day at her house, but I would like to drop off presents for the kids, my cousins, now 20, 18, and 14. You would refer to them as shit pups. Just a little background on Renee and Rob. Renee is my mother's youngest sister. Rob is her husband of about 5 years. They are a blended family. Renee came from a divorce and has a 20-year-old Gabby and the 18-year-old Brendan. The 14-year-old Felicity is Rob's child. Her mother died when she was 5. She's practically a saint, but has been heavily scapegoated by Renee. I've tried to talk to Felicity several times about this, but Renee always has to supervise every conversation with Felicity, and I'm pretty sure they check her phone. So I arranged with Renee to come to their house to drop off gifts on a day that wasn't.
So your aunt's basically the evil stepmother. You can't save your cousins, just like you can't save nieces and nephews. You can't interact with any of these people.
Christmas. Not gonna lie, I was dreading that day. I was tempted to tell her I was sick because I was not looking forward to shutting down yet another flying monkey attempt, which may or may not have happened since I drew the boundary. But, like the asshole that I am, I prepared to go. I made cookies that Brendan, 18, likes especially for him, and I was just going to go, give the kids the presents, watch them open them, and leave, basically. The day rolls around, the 29th. First thing in the morning, I get these 2 emails from my parents. Email 1. We are missing your whole pregnancy. It would be nice to know how things are going and what the doctors have told you.
Well, I'm sure it would be nice. It would be nice to have fucking normal, non-selfish boomer parents, but we all don't get our way, and that's life.
Oh, would that be nice? You'd like that, would you?
Yeah, they love that. The boomers always want to tell you what would be nice.
I'm so glad that you're expressing what you would like and that you all of a sudden give a shit about my pregnancy after almost destroying it with your bullshit. Very good. Email 2. I want you to think hard about what the situation is doing to Mom and me. I'm afraid Mom is going to go into a depression over this. It's time that we go to therapy together and start communication. This situation is untenable. This should be a happy time for us all. Already we had a shit holiday season. Think long and hard and get back to me. We are on vacation, and all Mom does is sulk and cry.
You mean in between screaming rage fits, right? Sulk and cry. Good. You should be happy that the narc is crying. You should hope that's true.
Smallest violin in the world playing just for them. Your words rang in my head. The only way to win is not to play. I was so tempted to say something, anything, you know? Like, funny, no one gave a shit about when I was crying, pregnant, but this bitch.
Never do.
Everyone gives a shit when she's crying. No one cared about my feelings, but it would all just ring empty anyway. They don't care. There's no there. You know, there's nobody in there. They consider me an object, a doll, a puppet. They don't care about me one little bit. I'm really starting to come around to this. A different part of me felt happy. At least now I know for sure that the bitch is suffering. A few hours after I received these emails and 2 hours before I was to go to Renee's house, so still the 29th, just got the emails, about to go to Renee's house, she cancels out of the blue. No details, just today isn't a good day. Can we do next week? This is pretty out of character for her. Usually she gives a reason. Since she didn't give me a reason, I interpreted this as her giving me a chance to make up with my parents so we could have a relationship. Or possibly staging an ambush when my parents get back from their much-beloved vacation that I'm ruining by refusing to go to therapy with them.
Well, they weren't too upset not to go, though. They still had to go on vacation, right? Okay.
I was pretty relieved that she canceled, honestly. I said, not a problem. I will just have Gabby come by to pick up the presents and the cookies since I made the cookies Brendan likes especially, and I don't want them to go bad. I said I will text her and find out when is good for her. You know. This seemed fine with Renee, so I text Gabby and I say, hey, I have presents and snickerdoodles here. When would you like to come and pick them up? She said she has a sinus infection and she fought with her mother that day. So now she's at her father's house and that she would come get them in a few days or so. I thought, okay, maybe this is why Renee canceled without giving me a reason. But why couldn't she just have used Gabby's sinus infection as a reason if she didn't want to mention the argument? 2 days go by, and I didn't hear anything else from Gabby, so I sent my husband with the presents and the cookies to just drop off at their house, because I figured it was a possibility they're just blowing me off, you know. Plus, it was New Year's Eve. Thought it might be nice for them to have the cookies. Next thing I know, I get a text from Renee that says, hold on, I just have to get to it. Text said, thank you for the cookies and gifts. Disappointed we didn't see you. I just dropped your gifts from your parents and from us. Love you and hope baby girl and you are both doing well. So you're disappointed you didn't see me. You canceled the last minute. All right. I go, yeah, I was disappointed that the other day was canceled too. I felt I needed to drop soon since the cookies wouldn't last. Love you. And I mean, you know, honestly, you might pick this up, but I'm using the cookies as an excuse. I really didn't want to fucking be there. So I'm avoiding them, you know, like I said earlier. But she goes, thank you again. Gabby has a sinus infection and Brian just got tested positive for mono today. Hopefully we can see you soon. Love you. I go, wow, that's intense. Already texted Gabby about her sinus infection, but that sucks for Brian. I mean, for Brendan with the mono. Tell him I hope he feels better soon. Love you. Thanks for coming by. You know, that kind of shit.
Sounds like a lot of setup for guilt and gaslighting, and which is why when you go no contact, you go no contact from everybody, because you just get yourself into these situations trying to make secondary players happy, and you can't have them around. You can't have them in your life.
So I also had my husband drop off presents and cookies at Gigi's house. And Gigi is a few years older than Renee, 10 years younger than my mother. I received this text from her. It said, hey, sweetie, I just got home and got the box for me and, her daughter. Thank you, but I was hoping we could have met up and opened together. I will drop off ours we have for you and Terrence. I'm sure you did too much. Love you and hope you're feeling okay. And I gave her the same bullshit I had Terrence drop off, my husband drop off, since he was out early and the cookies won't last forever. You know, she's like, oh, no bother, miss you, hoping to see you before my daughter left for Florida. And, she kept pushing, no way to see each other tomorrow, hope to see you soon.
Yeah, they're probably trying to get you out to set you up so your parents can get at you. That's what this sounds like.
So I buckled. I said, why don't we get together tomorrow, New Year's Day? But just one thing, my therapist has been teaching me how to set boundaries. So here goes. I'm happy talking about the baby and later subjects, but please feel free to vent about, your ex-husband or anything that's going on with you, but I will not be discussing my parents. I would rather not hear anything about them either. At this time, if you're okay with that, then sure, let's do it. She goes, oh, of course, sure. I wasn't planning on ever doing that.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I understand completely. Thank you for letting me vent about my ex-husband, LOL. I want to see how you and baby were, etc. And my daughter misses you too. What time is good to come over? Okay. So she comes over with her daughter New Year's Day. It was pretty awkward, to be honest. I tried to fill up the time just cooking and serving them food because I wanted something to do that would get in the way of conversation. And that worked for the most part. They didn't mention anything, but I don't know. They were looking at me weird. I didn't like the way they were looking at me. It was just, I don't even know, because I bet at Christmas my parents said a few choice words. I'm sure they did.
You can't worry about it. You can't worry. You have to expect you're going to be bashed. You're going to be bad-mouthed. It's just the way it is. There's going to be a smear campaign against you and your husband. And you need to stop putting yourself into stressful situations, especially when you're pregnant.
And I'm sure my brother, the golden fucking child, backed them up. Just making up shit. So Her texts thanking me afterward were nice, and generally the texts have been very nice from everyone, though pretty non-committal. I'm generally trying to avoid them, like I said earlier, because none of them have called me to tell me that we don't have to talk about my parents. We can talk about other things. Even my cousins haven't called to talk about anything else, especially after Christmas. There was real radio silence going after Christmas. There was no call asking how my Christmas was, I guess because I'm the evil bastard who didn't come to Christmas. How the baby's doing. Just hope you and baby girl are doing great in response to my Christmas texts. I didn't really ask them how their Christmas was either, but I was afraid they would start talking about my parents, so that's why. But now they're acting all upset that I'm not really coming to see them, or I'm kind of avoiding them. That's confusing to me because I feel like they're trying to make me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, they are.
Not for anything. I mean, I just feel like since I'm the one who's, pregnant and I've divulged a lot of information to some of them, I would think that they would check in on me a little bit more.
No, they're not. They're not. The only and I think the only reason that they're even following up like this is because you're pregnant. Okay, it's because they want to keep you hooked in and they don't want you to have a kid with your husband and then realize you don't need any of this other bullshit. So no, they're not going to go take the extra step to help you and to do stuff that's actually meaningful while you're pregnant, but they're going to acknowledge your pregnancy. Only to the extent that it benefits all of them and your mother.
That's all. Maybe that's too much entitlement. I don't know. I have no idea. But if somebody I knew was in my position, I would be reaching out to them,
You're expecting people in a narcissistic family, like the whole structure is fucked. You want normalcy and narcissism, and there is none. Not when you're the black sheep. That's for goddamn sure. You're searching for normal behavior, normal loving behavior, compassion in this with people who, we've all heard your mother. People who would willingly interact with that and not stand up at that. And you want some kind of normalcy from these people? They're all fucked in the head. They're all fucked in the head. This is why they all gotta go. All of them. Any of them who makes an excuse, tries to ignore it, anything to do with your mother. Gone.
I would be reaching out to them more, and I would let them know that, I understand where they're coming from and that I'm in their corner. And, especially if we had a relationship before where I would vent to them, they would vent.
Jen, you're not them. You're not them. The rules don't apply. The same rules that apply for them, the compassion they get, is not meant for you. You don't get that. Stop expecting normalcy from these people. You're never going to get it.
Me. I've been there for all of these people, for everything they've needed. Resident therapist, I guess.
That's what the black sheep does.
A semi-okay therapist I've started seeing is aware that my parents are narcissists and sort of gets that. She's very vanilla. I mean, she's very let's set goals. She's so fucking vanilla. She's putting a lot of the responsibility on me for this extended family situation. She urged me to reach out to my cousin to check in with her, to let her know I was there for her.
You got the wrong therapist. I'm not saying you don't need therapy. Stick with me. No. You need a therapist. You need a therapist that actually understands narcissism. This one doesn't. Because if she did, she wouldn't be telling you to reach out to anybody. To just set you up for disaster. You got the wrong therapist.
Story of my fucking life. I followed this advice just to test the waters. My cousin Gabby misses my call. Says she's getting in the shower and she'd call me right back, and she calls me about an hour later. We have a pretty superficial conversation, even though it lasted a while. She danced around the fight with her mother, saying it was silly, and she sure didn't sound like she had a sinus infection. Weird, right? I don't know what you're gonna say, but I've watched as many videos as I think I have, you're probably going to say, got to cut them all off.
So you know it.
I know. I guess I'm just not sure if I'm interpreting the situation correctly. It's like, on the one hand, I want to avoid confrontation with them. And on the other hand, I want to try to continue the relationship, but also give them enough rope to hang themselves with. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to just throw people away, who would be supportive of me, even though I'm not really sensing.
Who's supportive of you? Who would be? Wait. So who is supportive of you? Nobody. What do you think? There's just going to be this moment that so-and-so is going to be the one that steps up, or this one's going to be the one that steps up because you were nice enough? This is what they're hoping for. This is why they treat you the way you do, Jen, because you don't learn. You don't learn. You're dealing with a shit leopard and shit cubs. You keep fucking with it, you're going to just get shit all over yourself. That's just the way it works. You got one person that has your back, Jen, your husband. And you got a baby on the way, okay? You have a family. These people treat you like an outsider. They always have. And it's never going to change. It's never going to change. You're waiting for this moment that somebody's going to come run in and have your back. They're never going to do it. Even if they feign like they are at first for whatever reason, it's only a tactic to drag you back in and put the dynamic back the way it was.
That they're being supportive of me. It's like they're being standoffish and I'm being standoffish, but they're criticizing me for being standoffish. I don't know. Maybe they're being supportive in their own way, but since I made the topic
excuses, no, they're not being supportive. They're not supportive because they don't support you. Okay? The reason why the flying monkeys and the shit cubs aren't being supportive is because they don't support you, and they never will.
Off limits. They feel like their hands are tied with the amount of support they can show. But even if somebody told me that, okay, I don't want to talk about this topic, this is a fucked up topic, this topic makes me upset, I would be like, okay, I get that you don't want to talk about the topic, but I just want to let you know that I'm there. I'm in your corner. I understand everything you've told me. I think you're in a tough spot. I'm here for you. And I'm not, I don't have any.
Again, who's 6 months pregnant? Stop worrying about being there for them. Worry about yourself. So you have this guilt that you can't worry about yourself and take care of yourself without making sure all these other motherfuckers are satisfied. They're never going to be satisfied. They're never going to have your back. Never. It's never going to happen.
Any judgments against you for what you're doing. Like, I just feel like somebody should have leveled with me at some point like that. But
I'm leveling with you. They're never going to have your back. The shit cub will never have your back.
They haven't. So I feel unsupported, So, but the closer we get to my daughter being born, I feel like there's going to be a fucking problem.
Yep.
I feel
you're going to become more and more vulnerable as you get closer and closer. 8-9 months, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be pain, and you're just going to want the stress to stop. And that's when you're going to be at your most vulnerable.
I feel like they're kind of behaving themselves now. And I want to be fair and I want to be justified, but I'm pretty sure they're going to present a major problem once the baby's born. They're going to be like, how could you keep her away from your parents? Blah, blah, all this bullshit. I'm going to end up cutting them off anyway, So I don't know. Or maybe they'll continue this fakery with me. So that's what it feels like. It feels like fake bullshit. What kills me is that Renee, Gigi, and Gabby knew the whole thing pretty much as it was happening, especially Renee and Gabby. From my end, Gabby even heard the damn recording. But they're pretty much silent now, or they're fake,
So when are they going to have your back? If they heard the recording and they still don't have your back, like Jen, it's a pipe dream. You're living in a fantasy land. They all got to go. They're telling you, yeah, we heard it. We know how abusive she is, and we don't fucking care.
Towing around, and they probably believed whatever bullshit my parents and brother decided to slander me with at Christmas. So I'm sorry if that was pretty convoluted.
It's not whether or not they believe her or not. They don't care. They don't care.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm thinking about firing this therapist because, she told me to call Gabby, and it just didn't. I just feel like I'm insulting my own intelligence.
You are, and it's bad fucking advice. And the therapist doesn't understand narcissism, doesn't understand personality disorders, has no clue. And I'm not saying never find a therapist that understands. This therapist doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
It's by reaching out to these people. Like on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I'm avoiding them. And maybe that's why they're weird. But on the other hand, maybe they're weird because they're siding with my mother. That fucking narcissistic, evil bitch. So I don't know. This is why I'm...
Doesn't matter. They don't have your back. Whether they're siding with your mother or siding with you or don't want to get involved, they just want it all to go away, they're toxic to you. And you have no use for them.
Writing to you, I feel like you have a knack for kind of untangling people's heads. So if you could help maybe shed some light on what you think about this situation, if you think I'm being too rash, if you think the problem is me, could be. I don't think so, but could be. Anyway, thanks a lot for everything you do. Really appreciate it. And I hope your New Year's is going pretty great so far. Love to you and Charlene. Bye.
All right, that was weird. It says 23:06, but it's only 17 minutes. So Jen, because she made this on January 4th, and, my voice and all, I've been trying to get back. She sent me 2 addendums to this as well. The first was an email from her mother or her parents. How long is this going to go on? Not dealing with us is not the answer. What kind of therapist tells you not to deal with your parents? One who can see them for the toxic pieces of shit that they are. That's who. You know in your heart, and there they go. They want to tell you what you're thinking again. There's your narc boomer 101. To get assigned to you, they know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You know in your heart, we never did anything bad to you. Fuck off. On the contrary, we have been there for you your whole life. This goes on till the baby. If this goes on till the baby is born, I do not know if you can repair the hurt and damage you would have done to your mom and me. It's time you speak with us. Oh, that must be for your father. Who cares? See, they think like they're this. They think they're like these golden people that you can't tarnish ever. You'll never fix the damage you've done to. Who the fuck are you? What about the damage you've caused? No, none of it, right? None of it. And Jen sent me this a few days ago. Hi, Olly. Hope you're doing okay. It's late and I'm feeling hormonal and sad. Guess I thought I would update you in addition to the voice recording of me explaining the current situation in email 1 and the email 2 and the email from my parents in email 2. I blocked all my aunts and cousins today. Thank God. I still feel conflicted about it because, again, they didn't overtly do anything to me besides back away, update my parents on my pregnancy, and basically be fake. They never did anything for you anyway. Okay? They're subversively toxic. I guess I will be the bad guy no matter what I do. That's what comes with being the black sheep, Jen. That's just the way it is. I just don't want to get the questions about a baby shower. We're not having one. Or the birth. We're not telling any of them about it. Good. It's just so surreal. We just got married not even a year ago, and these people were my world, as toxic as they are. And now I may never see any of them again. I know in the case of my mother, that's a good thing. She is a true vampire. But the rest of them, mixed feelings. It's hard to accept that they may have never loved or respected me. It's weird to see little outfits for my daughter and think they'll never see her in that. They won't see her on birthdays, etc. But then again, they won't control her or me. They won't turn her against me either. Jen, this is what the boomers have done to us. When I say Generation X and other generations, or generations, especially my generation, generations that won't grow up, refuse to grow up because they got their boomer parents in tow. This is what I'm talking about. You can't make a decision without thinking about what your parents are going to think about it. That's the curse of these people. That's the real curse of these boomers. Okay, is you can't even look at an outfit for your daughter without somehow linking it to an opinion, what your parents are going to see, do, or have an opinion of. That's the curse of the boomer, man. That's the boomer legacy. You'll probably ask why my parents' emails keep coming through. Because you keep letting them come through. I set up a vacation responder to make it look like they get an error message after the last contact. So hopefully that will keep them at bay. Unfortunately, I'm still on the company health insurance, and being pregnant is very difficult to switch at the moment. I understand that. And you were very correct when you said I should have gone no contact with them years ago. But I met my husband, and that probably wouldn't have happened if had I done that. Silver lining? Maybe. Maybe. Take it. Take your silver lining and run. Take your silver lining and run. That's what you won't want. That's what you're not figuring out here, Jen. You are trained to try to please them in the end. That's the curse of the boomer. That's what the boomer does. That these, you can't make a decision. You can't even have an opinion without thinking about what's my parents going to think about it? Who gives a fuck? If you got your silver lining dealing with the narcissist, take it and run. Take your silver lining and run. If you end up reading this to your viewers, just caution them. Go no contact before you're pregnant. Go no contact after you're pregnant. But for fuck's sake, if you can help it, don't do it while you're pregnant. Everyone everywhere is telling you to keep that stress level down, and that's pretty tough to do during a situation like this. You're stressed anyway because the whole world treats you like you're made of glass, so actually do it before you get pregnant. Don't bestow your parents with the grandparent title. Trust me. Yup. Thank you for making videos for us. Honestly, I replay the first one you made for me a lot, and it helps because sometimes I re-brainwash myself. The video talks me down from the ledge of maybe I should give the narc a piece of my mind. Programming blows. I think that's why some people might write in with follow-up questions or similar questions. I can't tell whether it's the asshole syndrome or their programming just got them again, and they need to kick in the ass, and they need a kick in the ass with love. Some of us need to be taken by the shoulders and really have it drilled in. It's unfortunate. Anyway, thank you, Jen. Yeah, Jen, you do. Because you're suffering from 3 decades of dealing with boomer logic and boomer worship, and it's burned in your head. It's burned in your head. If you get a silver liner from your silver lining with your boomer parents, take it and run. That's your lesson here. You have your silver lining with your husband. Take your silver lining and run away from the baby boomer. That's the best advice I can give you, Jen, from all of them, because none of them have your back, and they never will. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your another contribution and story, Jen. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like, and YouTube may be trying to make that happen sooner than later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video upload. Also, be sure to follow me on the library app, which is linked in the description box as well. This is Olly Matthews. I'm Olly Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.